Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Today, Rafa spent a good portion of the day, most of it actually, just taking care of some kind of last minute details on the 64 bus here. It's just when you think you're done with a car, there's always just a few more things that need to be done. One thing we had noticed with this bus was the shifting was a little difficult. It would go into all the gears, but it was a little hard. I intended for us to check that out before we put the pan up underneath the front there. Rafa went ahead and took a look at that today, and there was a few different things going on. One of which was that the front shift rod was actually rubbing on the beam. And I don't know if it's because it's an aftermarket beam or because it's an aftermarket shift rod, or it's the front floor was replaced and maybe it's a little, I don't know. For whatever reason, it was rubbing on there. So that was making the shift effort difficult. And then the front shift coupler itself that connects the front shift rod to the rear shift rod. So these have a kind of a short shift rod that goes from the shifter itself, so about right here to about here or so, and then there's a long one that runs all the way through the bus, and that's the one that actually connects to the transmission. Anyway, so the coupler connecting the front one and the rear one was a little bit loose. So he went ahead and tightened that and put safety wire, all that kind of stuff that you think you'll get to. And then finally it's like, oh, this bus is going to leave. We need to finish up all these last little details. So he did that. And then the shifting just wasn't, he was having a hard time. So Rafa went to take it for a test drive. And then once he fixed all that, it wouldn't go into first or third gear anymore. And so he spent quite a bit of time actually messing around with the shifter to get it to nicely go into all the gears. And I think he took the little shift plate that goes underneath the shifter, and he ended up having to grind on it a little bit to give it a little bit more adjustment side to side for it really to be able to go far enough, for the shifter to be able to go far enough left to get first and third. Well, actually, shift handle left, but the actual shifter has to go right. It's kind of opposite because of the way the mechanism is in there. But anyway, long story short, I just took a lot of kind of dicking around to get it, and it shifts great now. It feels good, gets all the gears very easily. So it's just one of those things that, last minute detail when you go to actually like drive it and put some miles on it. Like, okay, we gotta get this dialed in a little bit. So that's all done now. What else? Yeah, just some little things we noticed. There's some little runs, probably hard to see in the paint when our painter painted the window frame. So we need to have him come over and fix those. I think that was about it. So like I said, just little things, last minute things. The owner wants to come pick it up this week, so we got to make sure it's ready for him. Rafa did take it on a pretty good test drive today. Says everything feels great, especially now that it's shifting well. Motor is bitchin', runs good. The brakes, Rafa said the effort on the brakes is a little high, even though it has disc brakes all the way around. But I think it's just a matter of breaking in the brake shoes. So or the brake pads rather. So I'll probably take it for a drive maybe in the morning after traffic dies down and try and get some heat into the brakes on it to help bed the pads a little. And I don't have any doubt that it's going to have bitchin' brakes. Again, this one has front and rear disc brakes on it, so it should stop really good. So again, I think it's just a matter of getting those pads seated into the rotors. So that's pretty much it. So that was that today. So Rafa again spent most of the day on that. And then I spent a little bit of time this morning on this buggy, just like fine-tuning the hole here a little bit more. Because of the way we sort of like jacked the back of the tank up to bring the filler neck up, it kind of moved the tank this way when we did that, because again, we kind of tilted the tank this way. So I had to kind of stretch the hole this way a little bit. And so I spent some time doing that. It's again one of those like measure twice or 3 or 4 times and cut once. So, you know, cut a little, test fit, not quite enough, cut some more, etc. So we got it pretty decent now. And then we found some weather strip that I think is going to fit nicely in here that will basically make a grommet for the hole here. And that'll be that. So we got a fuel sender for this today. And I think the fuel sender is about the last thing. So once the fuel sender goes on, we can bolt the tank down for good. Rafa made some foam seals, like foam weather strip kind of, that's going to fill in these gaps in here. So we got gaps here because, again, we jacked the back of the tank up. And then there's like a sort of triangular shaped gap on each side that he made some foam pieces for, that we'll go ahead and probably like glue those in just to keep air and stuff from coming through those openings. So yeah, once those go in and the fuel sender, then I think we can actually finalize bolting the hood down on this thing. So that's actually a pretty big accomplishment, because it's a lot of work to get this thing with the tank and everything in there right, and the beading in there, which is going to look like this. It's really nice when it's all done, but yeah, just putting the hood on one of these things is a major ordeal. I mean, we've got a lot of time in it just even to get it to this point where we're even close to, you know, finally like bolting it down. So it's a lot of work on these buggies just to get things to fit. So that was the rest of Rafa's day, was starting to work on making those foam pieces and stuff there. For me, I spent a little bit of time grinding on that hood this morning, and then I turned my attention to the bitchin' 68 double cab bus here. And first thing that I did was I took the front lug nuts, which I had to end up grinding down a little bit shorter here, so you can see, pretty much ground them to where they're about flush with the studs that they're on. So we didn't give up any thread engagement here, but what we did do is these now clear the insides of the wheels. So test fit all that. Everything clears great. Went ahead and Loctited and impact drove these on. So those are on for good now. No real reason to take those off again. Wheels clear, so done with that. So around the time I was finishing that up, UPS or FedEx one, I don't remember which one, showed up with the air conditioner, the engine side for this thing at least. And so I spent the rest of the day kind of mocking that up. And I get my light going here. So yeah, you can see how that's all in there. So again, this is the kit from Gilmore Enterprises. If anyone is thinking about air conditioning a vintage Volkswagen, these are your guys. Talk to Sean over there. He's the owner. I think he's a one-man show. I'm not sure if he has anyone working for him, but super knowledgeable. And yeah, I actually spoke and texted with him a few times today. I had some questions, but yeah, the kit is really nice. You can see this bracket here is kind of the main one that supports the compressor. It picks up the stud here on number 4 exhaust, the top stud there. And then it also, which is going to be probably hard to see, but it kind of comes down back here and it picks up the stud where the distributor clamp bolts to the case. So kind of back here, you can see that tall nut right there. It picks up there too. So that's the main bracket. And then the other bracket, which is what gives you, or will give you, your belt tension and so on, is this bracket here. And so again, this one picks up the 2 rear studs that hold the alternator stand on. And then it's got this arm that comes out and picks up one of the ears on the compressor. And so yeah, then once the belt goes on, then that threaded bit right there is how you would adjust the belt tension. So yeah, started mocking all that stuff up, you know, making sure it was going to fit this big fat, or clear rather, this big fat empty HEI distributor. It all looks really good. It clears this CSP center pole linkage. Everything looks really, really good. I'm super impressed with this kit. He does have some different bracket options depending on what linkage you're running, what carburetors you're running. You know, if you have a stock center mount carburetor, he has brackets that'll accommodate that. Dual carbs with hex bar or center pole. He's pretty much got different combinations that'll accommodate pretty much any stock or aftermarket setup. Anyway, so yeah, got that all mocked up. Really happy with how it's all fitting. And I think I'm going to put a hole straight back from where I'm pointing there for the two hoses that come to and from the compressor to go under the car, and then those will run up to the other components of the system. So yeah, super happy with how this is all looking. And so now that I'm getting this mocked up, then the next thing is to buy and also mock up the external oil filter and external oil cooler and fan, and yeah, get all that stuff mocked up, and then pretty much this engine and transmission can go in this thing for good. And Gilmore is supposed to be shipping the rest of the air conditioning system, I think, by like the end of next week. So this thing is going to start coming together pretty fast here, after much delay when I was trying to get a hold of him to actually buy this air conditioning system. But yeah, so once the rest of that stuff comes, I'll be able to mount the condenser, which goes up underneath the car, and then the evaporator, which is the in-cab part there. Get that all plumbed in. I think I mentioned before, the way it's plumbed in is it'll use these stock outlets here, so it kind of plumbs into those. And then I think there's two more outlets that kind of go under the dash more toward the center. So really, really nice system. This dude's gonna love it. Him and his wife, I think they're planning to drive this thing a lot, so they want it to be comfortable and have all those nice creature comforts that these old things didn't usually have. So I believe that is it for today, guys. Today is a holiday, President's Day, so Jacob didn't come in today. He was busy with his family or whatever. So that's it for today, guys. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.